Come and fly away with me. 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 Come and fly away.
I'm a nice person, man. I never want to hurt anybody's feelings, but I fucking will.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, or whatever it happens to be for all of you lovely people out there. And welcome back to Nerfy's Deep Dives. I am Nerfy. Today is going to be an interesting one because I've been getting a very interesting question. And that is, why haven't I covered all the mess that's going on in the Amberverse right now? I've watched all of the videos in my live streams, but outside of that, I haven't made any videos specifically about it or really talked about it. One person even asked me if it was some friends telling me not to cover it, which I find really funny because my friends don't tell me what to do on my channel, and they couldn't care less what I do in my channels. My friends would support me no matter what I decide to make videos on. But you wanted to know why, so here we are. I'm going to cover this trifecta of bullshittery, and I want to answer the question on why I'm not covering it. And the answer is, trust is the bedrock of any relationship, whether it's a friend, lover, potential lover, a new acquaintance, or even an audience. But how do you know when that trust is misplaced? Today, we are going to explore some key behaviors and characteristics that often indicate someone may not be as trustworthy as they appear. I'll break down each trait, discuss what it looks like in real life and on YouTube, and talk about why it matters. If you like this kind of content, give me a like and a subscribe, and let's just jump into this. Let's kick things off talking about inconsistency. This is one of the most telling signs that someone might not be trustworthy. We've all encountered people who just can't seem to stick to their word. Maybe they'll tell their audience that they're going to start a diet or exercise routine, but a few days later, all of it's suddenly over. Or maybe they're doing a giveaway, and it just never arrives.
Question is, did you scam one of your subscribers out of a gift card? I've actually talked about this before, and I said, I'm literally not going to talk about this again. I sent a $50 gift card to the giveaway winner, and they said they did not receive it. So I feel like it might be the other way around, that maybe they're scamming me. Becky had brought to my attention, sorry, my nose itches, my eye itches, I'm having allergy issues. If you guys can tell, I was holding Rarity hardcore. I have her fur all over me, but Becky brought to my attention, are you sure that this person wasn't initially a hater to begin with and this was their plan all along? And that breaks my heart if that's the truth. Another thing that could have happened was it could have been lost in the mail. So they might have literally not gotten it, but we have no idea because there was no receipts. Obviously, you don't get a receipt when you put something in the mail. So, no, I did not scam them. That's horrible. I hate that people think I am that type of person. I am not a degrading, horrible person, and that breaks my heart that people think that I actually do that. That's horrible.
1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm sorry. I was counting all my tracking numbers. See, I use them in my giveaways because you can track them. Anyways, or perhaps they promised some very hot tea on a locale that's been stagnant pond water for ages, but instead of hot tea, they come with lukewarm tea that's been out for a few days. Has a dead fly in it.
I do believe that Amber was trying to take weight loss seriously, but unfortunately, I do think it was because she was talking to Erica, and Erica takes her own weight loss and fitness journey very seriously.
Now, wait, Alexis. You're telling me Amberlynn Reed, the day one queen, the one and only, didn't care about weight loss unless motivated by an outside source, only to lose interest? Shocking. This tea is so cold and old, it's growing mold in it. And the mold has more culture than anybody involved in this situation. Inconsistency can show up in a lot of different ways. For example, you might notice that someone's behavior changes depending on who they're around. They're friendly and attentive when it's just the two of you, but cold and dismissive when it's a group setting. And we'll touch up more on inconsistency with other people a little later on. Or they might say one thing to you, but say something completely different to somebody else.
She did know, partially, it was supposed to be a troll, it was supposed to be a joke, it was supposed to be this, that, and the third, but I fell for the stupid. I was stupid, and I fell for the bullshit. I regret it majorly.
This kind of behavior can leave you feeling really unsettled. You start questioning whether you can really rely on that person. After all, trust is built on predictability, knowing that someone will do what they say they'll do time after time. When someone's actions don't align with their words, it's a clear sign that something's off. But why does it matter so much? Because inconsistency erodes trust. If you can't predict how someone will behave, it becomes almost impossible to rely on them. You're left in a constant state of confusion, which can be exhausting and damaging to any relationship. Next, let's talk about transparency, or rather the lack of it. Transparency is all about openness and honesty. It's about being clear and direct in your communication and not hiding things that others shouldn't know if you're meant to give the information.
So, let's do it. Ooh! Oh yeah, she's been wanting a tea kettle. Oh my god, it's so cute. She likes tea. I don't. Oh, shut up. So aesthetic. You guys. Oh, and by the way, you can click my little Amazon situation type deal. There's a link down below. If you see anything that I open from Amazon, I will try to remember to put it in the store so you can click it and get it yourself. Look at this.
Yes, like that. YouTube requires the transparency to your viewers that you are indeed trying to sell them something. You are attempting to get money from them, which you failed to do even though you lied later and said you just didn't know. Now, imagine you're talking to someone and you ask them a straightforward question, like, is Amberlynn Reed abusive? Instead of giving you a clear answer, they dodge the question. They give you a vague response or change the subject entirely with a personal opinion that nobody asked for.
I've said this before, and I'll say this again, but it takes two to tango. But I know if I ever dated Amberlynn, I think I definitely would be taking a really long grippy sock vacation afterwards. Her looks are absolutely not the reason that I wouldn't date her. It's everything else.
This might not seem like a big deal, but over time, it can start to feel like they're deliberately deceiving you, keeping you close and on the hook so you keep coming back. Lack of transparency can also show up in more significant ways. For instance, somebody might avoid discussing important details about their life, their past, or even their intentions.
For reasons. So,
Is that what she said?
yeah. That is what she originally said, yes. And that you guys weren't in love anymore, and you guys, I mean, it's like,
Yes, that's pretty key in all of this. I dislike Amber a lot, but a healthy poly relationship should have you talking to not just the person that you're interested in, but the other person in the relationship as well. But Erica admitted here that she blatantly lied. Brittany told her to blatantly lie, meaning they withheld information that Amber really needed to make an informed decision. Why is this a red flag? Because trust thrives on openness. When someone is transparent, you can trust that they're being honest with you, that they're not hiding anything important. But when transparency is missing, it creates a sense of unease.
Hi guys, so I just wanted to start this video by saying there will be ads in this video because I want to donate all the proceeds, every single last penny that I make on this video towards Becky's mom.
And the proceeds from this video, all of whatever we make off this video is going to go straight to my mother.
And I request, please, because we've been on the GoFundMe and people are bringing personal opinions about me or whatever it is into this. This is about Becky's mom. It's not about anything else. So her family and us, we have requested just kind of leave that out of it, because this is currently, we're trying to have as little stress as possible regarding this.
You start wondering, what else aren't they telling me? And once that doubt creeps in, it can be hard to shake. People who are trustworthy are usually straightforward. They don't play games with the truth. So if someone is being secretive or evasive, it's worth considering why they feel the need to withhold information. Often it's because they have something to hide, or they're trying to manipulate and weaponize a community against someone, which is never a good foundation for a channel or trust. Now let's dive into a behavior that's pretty much a universal red flag, and I could go on and on and on and on with Amberlynn Reed, and that's dishonesty. Lying, whether it's about something small or something big, is one of the fastest ways to destroy trust. And yet, we all encounter people who lie, from little white lies that seem harmless.
Hey guys, so I figured I would film a mukbang video. I'm gonna be eating 3 pretty big slices of pizza. Pepperoni. I'm not really a pepperoni girl, but oh well. I really don't want to eat. Like, I don't. But I haven't eaten today at all. And the only thing that we really have right now is pizza.
And stupid, don't forget stupid. 2 more significant deceptions that can really hurt your credibility and the people around you.
And this is me, Brittany, aka the crazy ex-wife. I am, I'm a therapist. That's what I do. And when I tell you that this is one of the most dangerously manipulative people that I have ever met, Amberlynn is one of the most dangerously manipulative people I have ever met. It really makes you step back and think about people's mental health and how destructive people are being. And I even coached her. I'm like, Amber, you really need to stop talking to people on the internet that you don't know, because you don't know these people.
Honestly, I feel like she was trying to get some credibility here and to dog on Amber with this lie. But in all reality, she forgot what community she was talking to. Let's start with the so-called harmless lies. Imagine someone tells you a small lie to avoid you judging them. Maybe you ordered something unhealthy, but you decided to tell everyone that it was the restaurant that messed it up.
I'm sure I'm giving you guys whiplash. You guys are like, what is going on? I get it. I understand. So we'll get into it. I got some of the kettle chips because I like to put that in my chili. This is turkey chili. It is so good. And then I got a veggie sandwich. Literally just has veggies. They gave me 2 chips, although I asked for an apple, but that's okay. Oh, they gave me the wrong sandwich. Oh no. I got the Mediterranean veggie sandwich, which is this delicious hummus. There's like a pesto.
Yeah, that looks like a regular turkey.
Yeah, this is like turkey with bacon and cheese. I'm really, really upset right now.
Now, on the surface, it seems they're just trying to protect themselves, or maybe make a meme, because that's certainly what she did. But here's the thing. Even small lies can plant seeds of doubt. If they lied about that, what else are they lying about? Now, think about the bigger lies. Like lying about situations they've supposedly been in order to get your sympathy. They want you to sympathize with them, to relate to them.
So then in a Q&A on Instagram that I did like 2 weeks ago or something, I said that I had, like, when I lived with my dad, because I did get to live with him again after I was put into foster care. I was in foster care from 8 to 18, but there was a year and a half in that time where I got to live with my parents for a trial period. It was to see if they were fit to be parents. And during that time, No, they were not fit. That is why I was taken from them again. They were still doing drugs, this and that, this and that. So at that time, at that age, when I was 14, my dad had a lot of like men who were on lots of different types of drugs. Sorry, I'm starting to get a little flustered in a bad way. And when I said that they would essay me, when I used the A word, assault, I consider harassment as an assault.
These lies have serious consequences. They can lead to damage to the person the lie is about, loss of an audience for the person that's lying, or damage to real survivors that are now under a microscope when they told their story because you lied. People can tend not to believe true survivors because people lie about their experiences, causing a massive ripple effect. Harassment is not assault. There is a reason there's different terms and different definitions, which are on the screen. Dishonesty is particularly damaging because it undermines the very foundation of trust. When someone lies, they are essentially saying that they value their own interests, whether that's avoiding conflict, protecting their image, or getting what they want, more than they value being honest with you.
All I have to say to that is I think anybody on this planet would struggle if they were Amber Lynn's long-term live-in partner.
Why do I find that dishonest? Because Jade is not here to defend herself. We all know that she will never come to defend herself. So Erica, Brittany, Alexis, any of them talking about Jade is incredibly dishonest. They're talking about somebody that cannot readily defend themselves. That's why I put that clip there. Why does this matter? Because trust is built on truth. When someone is dishonest, it's like pulling the rug out from under you. You start questioning everything they say, and it becomes difficult, if not impossible, to believe them. And once the trust is broken, it can be incredibly hard to rebuild. So, if you catch someone lying, especially if it's a pattern, it is a major red flag. Trustworthy people understand the importance of honesty, even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. They know that in the long run, honesty is the only way to maintain and build trust. Let's move on to another serious indicator of untrustworthiness: betrayal of confidence. This is when someone takes the trust you placed in them and completely disregards it, usually by sharing something that you've told them in confidence with others. You know, like everything that Alexis has said in every single one of her videos. Any example will do, but I'll use this one.
Yeah. Her main one was Danielle. I mean, she was in love with this girl. Aww. And I can actually understand why, because she's incredibly attractive. This girl also said a lot of the right things that made Amber Lynn kind of hooked. And she would do the inconsistent reassurance with her and be like totally in love with her one day and then like really all about her pre-existing partner the next day. Danielle has been with her current partner for, from my understanding, a decade, at least. But they are not married. This was when I started to realize that Amber Lynn does not care if someone's in a pre-existing relationship already. If she likes you and she thinks you're attractive and you say the right combination of words, she's going.
Such lukewarm tea. We already know that she was with one married woman. Another married woman is not surprising. Imagine you've shared something deeply personal with a friend, maybe a secret, a fear, or a piece of very sensitive information.
Homegirl thinks Alexis is her best friend in the world. Alexis thinks Amberlynn is her bestest friend in the world. Well, guess what? Like, Amberlynn talks about Alexis to me, saying she gives me the ick and the things she says to me, blah, 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 blah. So I didn't make her stop talking to anybody.
Why you would trust a married woman that's cheating on her wife with you is beyond me. But You trusted them to keep it between the two of you, but then you find out that they've told someone else or a massive online community. How does that feel? Probably like a punch to the gut, right? No matter how much cushion you've got there, it's going to hurt. Betraying someone's confidence is one of the most blatant ways to show that you are not trustworthy.
And her still being absolutely delusional. So she says, I'm in love with someone who genuinely loves me for me. And I said, you're delusional. And she said, why can't you ever just be happy for me? She's never ever done anything to hurt me. She's only made me feel safe and loved. Which is absolutely not true. Do you know how many hours I had to sit on the phone with this girl because she didn't want to be alone, because Tommy was being absolutely awful to her, ignoring her, telling her she doesn't want to talk to her, telling her she misses her ex, who has passed away. And in the meantime, responding to people and talking poorly about Amberlynn to these random people on Instagram.
It likely shows that you were never their friend to begin with. It shows a complete lack of respect for the relationship and for the person who trusted you. It's like saying, your secrets aren't safe with me.
Valentine's name is Erica, and Erica had a wife. I'm about to reveal screenshots that I could find because this is the only way that I'm going to prove it.
Even if you decide that this is justified to protect your new girlfriend, fiance, whatever the hell she is to you, it's never okay to betray the confidence that has has put in you. Why is this so damaging though? Because when someone betrays your confidence, it doesn't just hurt. It breaks the trust that's been built up over time. Trust is about feeling safe with someone, knowing that they'll protect what you share with them. I have some really good friends that I know are a vault, and I know if that trust was ever violated, it would be hard to ever feel safe with them again. This is why it's so important to pay attention to how someone handles sensitive information. If they gossip, share secrets, or otherwise fail to keep your confidence, it's a sign that they may not be worthy of your trust. Trustworthy people understand the importance of keeping things confidential and respecting boundaries that come with that trust. Next, let's talk about self-centered behavior. It's almost like I could just put their pictures up and leave it at that, right? But we all need to look out for ourselves. That's just human behavior. But there's a big difference between healthy self-care and outright selfishness.
Among trying to make sure she's okay over there. Look at what Peter Mon just uploaded. Him and Trisha in the same video. He is at Trisha's house on Trisha's floor. What? How you doing, babe?
It's starting to hurt.
It's starting to hurt?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
I'm hungry. I ate since yesterday.
You should probably get some food.
You know, I've used that clip a lot and I've seen that clip a lot, and every time I do, it makes me more and more angry. When someone consistently puts their own needs and desires above everyone else's, it is a major red flag. Think about a time when you needed support, and instead of being there for you, the person made it all about them. Or perhaps they take advantage of every situation to benefit themselves, without considering how it may affect others.
And then, it came out that she was still talking to Amber. I had thought that had ended months ago. And yeah, we together initiated a troll. And that's what we were doing, just to see if we could get some kind of reaction back, some kind of message. And that's as far as it was supposed to go.
The reason I think that was incredibly self-centered is because Erica is an incredibly common name, and it had to be about them. This led to live streams not only on their own channel, but on big channels like Jorichi that enabled them to gain an audience, and it was quite pathetic. It all became about them. It became about her, and I'll address this a little later. Anyways, this kind of self-centered behavior shows that they prioritize their own interests above the well-being of others, and that's a problem when it comes to trust. But why does any of this matter? Because trust is built on mutual respect and consideration.
Do I think it's possible that she paid for, Emily's plane ticket? Sure. Do I think she's financially supporting her friends? Absolutely not. There was a period of time where I was quite literally working 3 jobs, and still barely making ends meet. And, like, I didn't talk about it very often because I didn't want her to feel like I was asking for anything. But she, like, never, ever offered, not even one time.
Now, I showed that clip for a very specific reason, because it shows 2 kinds of self-centeredness. It shows Amber's, which we already knew. This is not news, Alexis. Once again, lukewarm tea, been set out for a few days, some dead flies, mold, all of that's up in that tea. This is not news, but it also shows yours. No one owes you help. I hate the fact that you and those 2 other people are making me defend Amber. But at the end of the day, friend or not, unless you're asking for help, you don't get it. I have friends I know will help me, but not if I just tell them my problems and expect them to read between the lines. In any healthy relationship, there needs to be a balance between your needs and the other person's. When someone is constantly putting themselves first, but not expressively asking for help, they are not going to understand that you need help. You need to work on your communication skills, girly. That's the problem here, not the self-centeredness, because both of you are masters at that. Anyways, self-centeredness is a sign that they might not be willing or able to consider your needs or feelings.
So, I think if I could change anything, it would be like your priorities within like your priority list. What does that mean? I just feel like maybe your priorities are a little off. I don't know, babe, you're perfect just the way you are, so it's hard to choose.
I need to express why that clip hit so hard now, because now we know that Beck has confirmed that Amber Lynn would set timers when she wanted to spend time with friends, family, maybe even her dying mother. And not only that, but Amber also confirmed that she used to do this, but not use timers. So she forced Beck's priorities, making her incredibly self-centered. So it's perfect, isn't it? Self-centered people are often unreliable because their actions are driven by what benefits them in that moment. They might make promises, but only keep them if it's convenient for them. They might seem supportive, but only when it aligns to their own goals. This kind of behavior can make it difficult to trust them because you never know if they're truly looking out for you or just for themselves. Trustworthy people, on the other hand, understand that relationships are a two-way street. They're willing to make sacrifices and consider the impact of their actions on others. If someone is constantly putting themselves first, it's a sign that they might not be the kind of person you can rely on. Another behavior that can signal untrustworthiness is frequent blaming and making excuses. We all make mistakes. It's a part of being human. But how we handle those mistakes is really, really what matters.
The truth is, like, I've talked to a lot of people, and they think I should talk to you about, like, when, like, the binge monster comes, like, you do everything in your power to help me, you know? I know, it gets scary. It's hard.
Get mean.
But I'm not, like, mean abusive.
You're not abusive, no, but you get mean, and we've argued about it.
Yeah. Which is very common. I've talked to some people, and... But really, like, off a camera, we should, like, talk, you know?
You know, like making up part of a mental illness that likely doesn't exist to excuse abuse on your partner. When someone constantly blames others or makes excuses instead of taking responsibility for shitty behavior, it's a red flag. Imagine this scenario. Someone messes up. Maybe they didn't do something that they had promised they were going to do for their audience. Instead of owning up to it, they start pointing fingers, blaming significant others, circumstances, or even the audience themselves. Or they might come up with a list of excuses for why this wasn't their fault.
And all this stuff, which I totally agree with. But I read you guys the text messages, and I didn't do anything wrong. So I'm gonna take this as, this is not my fault. It's like she knew that I got a lot of hate and stuff, so she kind of knew that was what my channel was experiencing when she messaged me. But anyways, enough of that. I think I read comments for over an hour, and I started bawling my eyes out. I have not been, like, affected from a comment in a couple years, I have been very numb and like, oh, I don't care about comments, like they're whatever to me. I've been just like whatever to comments for a very long time. But when you're sitting there already feeling kind of depressed and stressed out, and then you read things about yourself that is so freaking hurtful, it does something to your brain. And I just was like, oh my god, like people actually hate me. People actually think I'm a person that I'm not, like a horrible person. And even talking about it now, I'm just like, what? Why am I doing Vlogmas? I'm so confused. Like, people hate me. And then there was a very big portion of people who were pretty much telling me this is gonna be my last Christmas if I don't lose weight, because my binge eating has not been good. It's been there every single night almost, and there are some nights when I binge and I'm just like amazed with how much I could eat without feeling full. Sometimes I get super sick and I still keep eating. That's when you know you have a problem. And then there are other times where I literally can't get full, and it's like I need to feel full. I know that's obviously mentally something's wrong with me, I know, but it's just good, you know, that I can admit that I have a problem, and I know I have a problem. Some people can't admit that. So long story short, there are people, this was part of the comments that I read last night when I shouldn't have. There are people who just wait for me to gain weight, wait for me to reach a highest weight. And it's painful that there are people out there who want to see me gain weight. They want to find a reason to validate themselves for all the horrible things they say to me. And I feel like by gaining weight, by having new highest weights, I am literally just giving people a reason to continue bashing me. But the thing is, I know I'm gonna get hate no matter what. I could lose 100 pounds, I'd still get hate.
And the excuses can go on and on and on, and people can actually make compilations about how many excuses you have. This kind of behavior shows a lack of accountability, which is crucial for trust. Trustworthy people take responsibility for their actions. They're willing to admit when they're wrong and apologize, and do what they can to make things right.
Sorry, I'm trying to find my sympathy bone. My sympathy. I'm sorry. I don't care! I want you guys to go look at the shit that she talked about my lung. I want you to go look. I want you to go look. So I decided to pull a fast one. And I just wanted to see how you guys would react. And I was right. So.
They can often sit and blame another person for the words that are spilling out of their own mouths. Someone who is constantly blaming others and making excuses is avoiding that responsibility.
Why can't you just take constructive criticism? Why can't you just deal with it? Take the heat or get out of the kitchen. Am I right? That is what I hear all the time. But there comes a time where it's like, you guys, I'm not the fucking problem. Some of you are. And yeah, I'm getting mad because I'm fucking... It's like I try to do something nice. And I know people can say, why are you showing this? It's to show you guys that this is the shit that I deal with outside of the fucking camera. You guys won't even believe the shit that I have to deal with. And it's just part of the problem. So, you know, this is what happens when my YouTube channel 7-8 years ago ends up on a fat shaming website and all of you guys decide to come follow me. This is what happens. Fat shaming isn't real. What do you mean it's fat phobia? It's constructive criticism. What is that? You're sending alcohol to an alcoholic. So I hope you have fun sitting next to Trump in hell.
Oh yes, you were trying to be so nice by allowing people to send you stuff. Sure, our fault. Why is this important? Because trust requires accountability. If someone can't admit when they're wrong, it's hard to trust them to make things right in the future. It also suggests that they might not be fully honest with themselves or with you about their actions or the impact of their actions.
Why wouldn't you just do everything that you could to keep me around when you had me around? Like, I do feel bad that she's sad. I do feel bad that she feels like I betrayed her. I do experience sad emotions when it comes to Amber Lynn. I'm not just some heartless that doesn't care. And I feel like a lot of people think that. I do care. But there's also a lot of things that she says and does, whether it's to me or to other people, that I'm not okay with. And I haven't been okay with.
Amber's crocodile tears, anyone? Seems like you're mirroring that behavior. Look, if you honestly felt this bad and this is your attempt at taking accountability, you missed the mark. And the reason you missed the mark is because you're not taking accountability. You're blaming Amber for you having to do this. You're blaming her and saying she's forcing you when nobody is forcing you to do this. You are voluntarily doing this and outing everything you know, which, by the way, isn't much. You live in Wisconsin, she lives in Oklahoma. All you know is what she's told you, and that doesn't mean much. Look, if you're dealing with someone who frequently blames others and makes excuses, it's worth taking a closer look at their overall behavior. Are they avoiding responsibility in other areas as well? Are they unwilling to admit when they've made a mistake? These are all signs that they might not be as trustworthy as you'd like them to be. Inconsistent behavior with different people. Oh dear. I have to be careful, or this section is going to be like 45 minutes long. This is when someone acts one way with you and a completely different way with others. Maybe they're kind of supportive when it's just the two of you, but really distant or even rude when you're in a group or a double date.
Shopping is
Hey Dana.
complete.
Hey Dana. Hey.
Becky. Hey Becky. Hey Becky. Hey Becky.
I bought that exact bear for Dana last year.
Oh, I know. You almost said my name. Did you? It's like, she's like, Dana. Why does she always do that?
It's just when people are around each other.
I know. What are you doing? Oh my god.
I hadn't started. Here you go.
Baby, I like the raw footage of life.
You know, like converting back to the personality you had with an ex and treating your current girlfriend like garbage. That kind of behavior. This kind of behavior is a red flag because it suggests that the person isn't being genuine. They're putting on different masks depending on who you're with, which makes it hard to know who they really are. It also makes it difficult to trust them because you don't know which version of them you're going to get. Trust is built on consistency and authenticity. When someone is consistent in their behavior, it creates a sense of reliability. You know what to expect from them. But when their behavior changes depending on the situation or who they're with, it creates uncertainty.
This is going to be another YouTube video for her. Thank you.
I don't either, because I'm pretty successful. I'm pretty smart. I'm not bad looking.
Oh,
Like,
I mean, that's one thing that Erica definitely did say about you. You're very smart, all of that good stuff. So I believe it.
okay,
So
it makes you wonder why she go looking somewhere else, don't it?
I mean, yeah, honestly, some people just can't stay with one person. I don't know why. Like, I am beyond disgustingly loyal. Like, I stopped talking to several of my friends for her because she didn't even want me talking to them. But yet she had a whole wife, like, that she had an actual marriage with.
My question is did she use that puppy voice with Amber too? Because if she did, I know how she got in. Anyways, inconsistent behavior can also be a sign of manipulation.
Now that how I'm viewing it, straight up like manipulation, love bombing type deal.
Yes, Queen, tell us how you do it. Oh, you're blaming us. Okay, well, I personally think that you should give lessons on manipulation rather than tell us how you're being manipulated. But anyways, the person might be trying to get what they want from different people by acting in a way that they think might be more effective to that situation. This kind of manipulation is the opposite of trust. It's about control, not connection. Trustworthy people are consistent in their behavior, no matter who they're with or what the situation is. They don't change their personality to fit the circumstances or to manipulate others. If you're noticing inconsistent behavior in someone, it's worth considering what might be driving it, or whether they're truly being honest with you. Another critical sign of untrustworthiness is a failure to apologize or make amends. We all mess up from time to time. It's part of life. But what really matters is how we handle those mistakes.
Initial contact was made sometime in August of last year. So I told Erica, I'm like, why don't you message her? And, you know, she was one of our favorite YouTubers. We've been watching her for years. And she messaged her, and when I tell you, like, literally less than 10 minutes, there was a response. Less than 10 minutes.
Like, for instance, trying to weaponize a community, not having any facts, lying, and then doing a live stream where you just block people that ask questions you don't want to answer. Look, when somebody refuses to apologize or gives a half-hearted apology without any real effort to make things right, it's a sign that they might not value the relationship as much as you do, whether it's a lover, a friend, or an audience. Think about a time when someone hurt you. They may have said something unkind, broke a promise, or let you down in a very significant way. When you confronted them, instead of offering a sincere apology, they either brushed it off, or maybe they gave a non-apology. Like, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Or like an abuser, a mental abuser would say to someone, when those things are being done, I'm going to defend myself because I'm done not defending myself. I have gotten several messages from people saying, start defending yourself. You do not deserve this. And I would ignore it. I would ignore it because I knew it would make it worse. But I'm at the point where, what's even the point anymore? What's the point of standing down, cowering down? I'm not gonna let people walk all over me, and I will defend myself, and I will not apologize for how I felt in that Snapchat rant, because everything I said is 100% true. And I will stand by that. That is for the people who have been abusing me over and over and over. That is not for the people who have not been abusing me. If I hurt anyone or made anyone think differently of me because of it, like people who truly care about me and I care about them, then I am sorry. That I will apologize for. But to the hater nation, not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen because this has been going on for far too long.
That was to an audience member because they felt offended by something she said. Or maybe they don't apologize at all. How did that make you feel? Probably like they didn't really care about how their actions affected you. A failure to apologize or make amends shows a lack of respect for the relationship and for your feelings. It suggests that the person isn't willing to take responsibility for their actions or put in the effort to repair the damage that they've caused.
I receive a lot of negative tweets and messages and private messages and comments, and it's been a lot. So I kind of put a wall up and a guard up, and I became defensive towards everyone and everything, and I'm just really sorry for that. And I can go back and look at some of the things I've said and I've done, and I'm just like, why did I do that?
Or they can completely ignore it, much like her, and just try to pretend as if she is justified in what she's doing. This is a major red flag when it comes to trust. Why is this important? Because trust is fragile. Once it's broken, it takes a real effort to rebuild. A sincere apology and a commitment to make things right are essential steps in that process. If someone isn't willing to take those steps, it is a sign that they might not be invested in the relationship. At least, not as much as you are.
And you can think I'm an awful person, that's fine. But you will never know the full story, and you will never know the things that I had to go through for her. She did not love me. She did not care about me. I was always a second option. Always a second option. And she never prioritized me the way that I prioritized her, and I will stand on that forever. And you can sit there and say that I'm bitter and say this and say that. Maybe I am. Maybe I am bitter because I did so much and I went through so much. And for what? For what? This is...
Again, the amount of people that contact Amberlynn Reed and believe that they're different is astounding to me. Okay, trustworthy people understand that apologies aren't just about saying I'm sorry. They're about acknowledging the harm that was done, taking responsibility, and making a genuine effort to prevent it from ever happening again. If someone isn't willing to do that, it's a sign that they might not be somebody that you can rely on. Always remember, a sorry without change is just manipulation. Let's talk about manipulation. Another very long section if I wanted it to be. This is when someone uses tactics like guilt or pressure to get what they want. It's sneaky, and it's a clear sign that someone might not be trustworthy. Manipulation is all about control. It's about getting someone to do something that they might not want to do, often by playing with their emotions.
So it's like vlogging just, I don't know, I just feel so disconnected.
Oh dear, that was the wrong clip. My bad. Sorry about that, Ambi. I always get them mixed up with other clips. I'm so sorry.
She proposed to me. This is all stuff we've talked about, so I'm not throwing shade, okay? She proposed to me, and we were in love, and we had some of our future planned. So yeah, she should feel like fucking utter shit for breaking my heart.
Who's to say I don't?
It is what it is. But I don't want her to feel that way.
You know, like trying to make the woman that you've been controlling for years feel awful for leaving you when in 2 weeks, you'll be moving on as if she did not exist. Manipulative tactics can show up in a lot of different ways. Maybe someone tries to make you feel guilty for not doing something they want. Or maybe it's just saying things like, if you really cared about me, you'd do this. Or even just saying things like, it's her or me.
So after I saw this, I did unblock her and I did text her. And here's what I said. Because like, I do miss her, but I also can miss someone and still not agree with what they're doing and with what they're saying and think that they're not a good friend to me. So then after I texted her, it immediately turned into her crying.
That seems like a perfectly healthy friendship. Really just that friendship just shines on through, Alexis. Or they might use flattery to butter you up, making you feel special and appreciated, just so you'll do them a favor. Another common tactic is to apply pressure, pushing you to make a decision quickly without giving you time to think it through.
Kind of becoming possessive, and she was questioning me all the time. So, you know, she was like, why don't you leave the house, go to the store or something so you can call me? And I'm like, no, like, my wife has 360. So me and my wife have 360, and we know where each other are at any given time. So, you know, it's not like I'm running around doing crazy stuff. So she made the comment saying, I need you to put me on Life 360. So I was like, no, not going to do that. A couple weeks go by and she's still pestering me about it. And I agreed to it.
I know Life 360 is something that everybody uses, but it's still a little creepy to me. This might involve creating a sense of urgency and making you feel like you'll miss out on something important if you don't act now. Why is this a red flag? Because manipulation is the opposite of trust. It's about getting what you want at the expense of somebody else's autonomy. Trustworthy people respect your boundaries and your right to make your own decisions. They don't try to manipulate or control you. They value honest communication and mutual respect. If you notice someone using manipulative tactics, it's important to take a step back and assess the situation. Are they truly looking out for your best interest, or are they just trying to get what they want? Manipulation can be subtle, but once you recognize it, it's a clear sign that someone might not be trustworthy. Finally, let's talk about empathy.
My brother, and I am always putting myself in his shoes, and my therapist is like, yeah, you're an empath for sure.
Or rather, the lack of it. Empathy is the ability to understand or share the feelings of others. I've made some videos on it. It's what allows us to connect with people on a deeper level and to build strong, trusting relationships.
Okay. So, I had some really suspicious Valentine's Day presents this year. Very suspect ones. I was like, okay, that's an interesting choice. So, I received an owl for Valentine's Day. And I received a mini bag of cameras for Valentine's Day. So I don't know if they didn't get out of the house fast enough. Yeah, so I specifically remember looking at the mini bag of cameras and being like, what the fuck? It would look like a mini bag of Temu cameras.
You know, like that, where you have to question what your wife gave you for Valentine's Day because a troll got out of hand. Anyways, what happens when someone lacks empathy? When someone lacks empathy, they struggle to understand how their actions affect others. They might not realize or care that their words or behaviors are hurtful.
And I know that in my second video, I had said something along the lines of they deserve whatever doxing happens to them because of them publicly inserting themselves into this and publicly supporting Amber Lynn.
This lack of understanding can lead to all sorts of problems in a relationship or life, from a minor misunderstanding to major conflicts. Why is empathy so important for trust? Because trust is built on a mutual respect and understanding. When someone is empathetic, you can trust that they'll consider your feelings and needs when making decisions.
Yeah. Oh, dear Heavenly Father.
Sorry.
Ooh, that girl's big mad. Did you not see her, babe?
Yeah. No, I didn't.
Yes. She really made Beck drive on new meds and nearly got into a wreck, and somehow it was Beck's fault. But, like this, when empathy is missing, it's hard to trust that they'll act in your best interest. Lack of empathy can also lead to selfish and hurtful behavior. If someone doesn't understand or care about how their actions affect you, they're more likely to do things that damage the relationship. This can make it incredibly difficult to rely on them or to feel safe and supported in the relationship. If you're dealing with somebody who seems to lack empathy, it's important to be cautious. While some people might simply be less emotionally expressive, a true lack of empathy can be a major red flag when it comes to trust. Trustworthy people are usually attuned to the feelings of others and make an effort to be considerate and supportive. So what can you do with all of this information? How do you protect yourself from untrustworthy people? First and foremost, trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Pay attention to those gut feelings. They're often your best defense against being hurt and betrayed. Look for patterns. One red flag might be a mistake or a misunderstanding, but if you're seeing the same behavior over and over, it's likely a sign of something deeper. Don't ignore the signs just because you want to believe the best in somebody. Communication is also key. If you're noticing these behaviors in someone close to you, try and have an open and honest conversation about your concerns. Sometimes people just aren't aware of how their actions are being perceived, and a little awareness can go a very, very long way. However, it's also important to know when to walk away. If someone repeatedly shows that they are not trustworthy, it might be time to distance yourself. Trust is very hard to rebuild once it's broken, and sometimes it's better to protect yourself than to keep giving people chances that they don't deserve. Remember my motto, protect your peace, and I want you to eat, but not at my table. Now, all of you that are asking why I'm not doing deep dives on this trifecta of bullshittery, why I'm not jumping in on this and ripping these women apart, it's because every single one of them are untrustworthy. There is no one to trust. There is no reliable source here. Even the so-called tea can't be trusted because 90% of it came from Amber's mouth herself. And we all know we can't trust her as far as Erica can throw her, and that's not far at all. The whole reason that I jump so hard on Amber is because she often looks at us dead in our face and says, who are you going to believe? Me or your own eyes? Well, I'm gonna believe my own eyes, and so is my audience. But when you add the 3 other women that never bothered to pay close enough attention to not just Amber, but to how Hater Nation works, it all gets muddled. No footage was released. There's some threats about some nudes being released, which, by the way, that's revenge porn, and I am 100% against it, no matter who it is. You have very little voice recordings when it was promised, but the voice recordings that were released doesn't just incriminate Amber, it also incriminates them. So when you strip away their credibility, what does it leave you with these women? It leaves you with 2 trolls that thought it would be fun to troll Amber. They tried to get a hold of Zachary Michael in November, but he didn't bite. One of them fell in love with Amber. By the way, Brittany, I would have gone to my grave with that information. They lied in their first voice recordings, and then in the video that they recorded, you hear how Brittany was in on it the whole time, and yet she's meant to be the victim? No, neither of you are the victim. Both of you are just as guilty as Amber. You guys touched the poo, and while you long to be remembered at the same level as like Beck or something, you guys are just Wish, Rafe, and Hannah, put to the back burner and will soon be completely forgotten with very little sympathy given to you. Then you have Alexis, who has no hands-on experience with Amberlynn Reed, but everything is done through voice notes and what Amberlynn said. So we know we can't trust what Amberlynn has to say. So what does Alexis have? Nothing. Some text that looks suspicious, but also makes Alexis look suspicious. And she's also hoped that her ex got doxxed because they sided with Amberlynn in this situation. This is Amberlynn Reed's former attack dog that would go after anyone on TikTok that had anything to say about her in a negative light, which tells me she never watched anything on Amber, because if she did, she would know that Amberlynn doesn't take very good care of her pets. She gets no sympathy for turning on a supposed friend. These women had one thing in common. They treated the reaction channels and Hater Nation like idiots. They thought that if they pointed the laser pointer where they wanted us to go, we would just follow without question or responses. They tried to weaponize my audience and the audience of all the reaction channels. And while yes, it can be easy to do, we've spent years watching Amber. We take nothing at face value, and we certainly take nothing anyone says in the Amberverse's word for it. And that is what they weren't expecting. They weren't expecting for us to be intelligent enough to see the red flags. Maybe not as big as Amber's red flags, but red flags nonetheless. And just like Amber, they are completely covered in shit. That's why I'm not covering them. Because nobody is trustworthy, nobody is worth it, and nobody is clean. I want to thank you all so much for tuning into this episode of Nerfy's Deep Dives. I hope this helps someone out there. If you like this video, give me a like and a subscribe. When I reach 2,000, I will be doing a 12-hour live stream mega event. And as always, if you take meds, don't forget to take your meds. If you don't take meds, go outside, touch some grass, drink some water, and have the day that you deserve. Bye, guys.